Hi there, welcome to 3Spoonies. We are your hosts, Claire, Karen, and Joe. And in this episode, number 27.5, we're discussing discrimination. Let's get into some questions.
Are you drowning in admin? Struggling to keep up with emails, invoices, social media, or the endless to-do list that comes with running a business? Then it's time to call in Vicky Admin Fairy, an award-winning virtual assistant who brings order to admin chaos. Vicky works with all entrepreneurs, regardless of their background or abilities, to take care of the time-consuming tasks that slow you down. Whether it's managing emails, sorting financial admin, handling social media, chasing late payments, the list is endless. She saves business owners hours every week, reducing stress and ensuring everything runs smoothly. With 25 years of experience, a flexible, client-focused approach, and a reputation for going above and beyond, Vicky adapts to your needs, making your business more efficient so you can focus on what you do best. And the best part? You'll have more free time to grow your business, boost profits, or just enjoy life without admin headaches. Want to free up your time and get your business running more smoothly? Visit www.vickyadminfairy.co.uk or email hello@vickyadminfairy.co.uk to find out how Vicky can help you.
I'm Claire from Sparkle's Gift Boutique.
I'm Karen from Pony Pony Pony.
And I'm Jo from Bright Cat Business Solutions.
And we are 3Spoonies navigating our way through life and business with not enough spoons. We have our three fabulous guests with us again today. So, Angie, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, lovely. Thank you. I'm Angie Simmons. I'm a personal development mental wellness mentor. By turning my mental mess into my message, I help women improve their mental and emotional well-being, helping them gain clarity, confidence, and more connection.
Thank you. And Desiree?
Hi, my name is Desiree Djanie, and I am a hair, scalp, and skin expert. I deal with hair loss conditions, scalp problems, but I also run a studio that deals with preventative hair loss and hair care matters. And so I do that every day, but then I also have a YouTube channel where I do educational things to help people manage things from home.
Love that. And Desiree's going to be my new best friend and help me with all my things that I need. And River, would you like to introduce yourself as well, please?
Work full time and I'm also a uni student. I love to raise awareness for disability and just everything related to that and kind of advocacy and proving that my disability doesn't define me with crazy challenges.
Yeah, you definitely do.
Very aware.
I remember my reaction when you said you were running the marathon. It was like, what?
Yep.
Yeah, but I'm proud of you for what go you. So we are carrying on from the last show about discrimination. I will hand over to Karen.
Thank you very much. So this episode, we're going to be looking at allyship and advocacy, both how we can help other people and how other people can help us, because it's a nice reciprocal thing going on. So my first question is, for people who know you socially, is there anything people can do to help support you?
I'll go first. Socially, I don't pick up on a lot of social cues. So someone telling me that someone across the room's waved at me, that's really helpful because I haven't seen it. Or like, I find it really hard to kind of read a room full of people. So quite often I will distance myself from the room and not get involved just because I can't always see what's going on. I can't read people's facial expressions. And especially like in conversations, I find it really hard to know when it's my turn to talk or like anything like that, just because I can't read the room full of faces. So someone kind of making an effort to get me involved or to kind of give me that prompt to say when it's kind of like my turn, or when someone's giving me like a gesture to kind of go ahead, that's really helpful for me.
Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And that, I think a lot of people would find that helpful, whether it's a sight thing or potentially a neurospicy thing as well. I know picking up on facial expressions can be tricky for some people. So yeah, being able to bring someone in and things like that, yeah, that's really valuable.
I think for me, for anybody that knows me, yes, I help other people regards to mental health issues. I don't take any tablets or any medication for my own. I manage it. But one of the things for me is when I go extremely quiet. And I think a lot of people, so I'm sharing that from my perspective, but other people that really do struggle, sometimes they go really quiet, and sometimes they need somebody there to say, are you okay? Sometimes they don't want anybody to get in touch. So if you reach out to somebody and say, are you okay? And you get, yeah, I'm fine. Don't then bombard them, because that will just make them go even further in what I call my bear cave. If I'm feeling a bit delicate and I need to rub a few wounds and heal a few bits, I will go into my bear cave. And if I go right into the back of my bear cave, you've got no chance of getting anywhere near me. But if I'm sat on the front going, does anybody really care? Somebody reaching out and saying, you've got a bit quiet, are you okay? That would be the difference to me, feeling loved and not going back into my bear cave. I hope that makes sense to
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, perfectly.
Yeah, anybody who struggles with mental health will get that one, definitely. And yeah, sometimes we need somebody to reach out. Not we need, it's nice to have somebody to reach out and go, you've gone a bit quiet, you okay? Sometimes it's like, leave me alone.
I'm not okay, but I will be. I'm just processing.
Yes, yes.
Need
But
a
it's
bit of
giving,
time.
yeah, it's giving that person that opportunity to know that there's somebody out there that does care, because it can make all the difference.
I think I'm going to kind of tie in with that. And I think Joe and Karen will get it as well. It's like, just because like your disabilities are hidden, cancelling plans at the last minute or something just makes you extra tired. Just give a bit of understanding for it. Like, I still beat myself up. I'm like, oh, I used to be able to do this, but I can't do this, or I have to plan and work out what I'm doing. And some people are like, oh, but you used to be able to fine doing this, and you could do this, or oh, but you went and done this. Yes, but then I took 3 days to recover afterwards. Like, I may have gone and been social. Doesn't mean I was social when I got home. I had to hibernate and recharge and maybe sleep for a couple of days and just kind of reconfigure myself.
And what you avoided before the event.
Yes.
The things you avoided to prepare.
Oh,
And then
yeah.
after.
Yeah, there's a full planning process of there's these
Yeah.
either side.
Yeah.
It's that mentally getting ready for it, isn't it? It's like, right, I've got this full on day. You mentally prepare for it, and then it's like, right, I need to decompress.
Yeah. Or I've got this coming up, so I cannot do anything for 2 days. Because that day I've got to save myself for that day. But then even after that, I can't. Just for you to be your best. And so you are then your best. But then you're judged on that. You're judged on the fact that you were at your best that day.
Yeah, everybody sees, oh, you're at your best. They don't see you're in bed for 3 days.
No, it's before and after.
Yeah, or the mental like hoops you've got to jump yourself through to get.
I've had that before when I've been on stage talking and things like that. And everyone's like, oh my God, that was amazing, blah, blah, blah. And then they're like, why haven't you used that on social media? Why haven't you done this with it? You're supposed to be marketing your business. And I'm like, do you actually realize that how much energy that took for me to get on that stage? Yeah. I need to recuperate. I need to patch some bits up.
Yeah. It's like, it's over there. It'll get done.
Yeah. Eventually.
Yeah. At the moment, my health is not good. Despite the fact I had a lovely first week off over Christmas. Since then, it's gone downhill. And what I need is currently a week in bed. I don't have time for a week in bed. I'm already behind. So, which is creating overwhelm, which is making everything worse. So at the moment, I'm very much taking everything one task at a time, no matter what it is, whether it's home, spending time with Ben or Bugger. It's like, I love you. I need to go to bed.
This is all you're going to get today.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, even cats, they're not getting fed on time because I'm usually asleep. But yeah, but nobody sees that bit.
Yeah.
And just somebody reaching out going, is everything okay? Can really help.
Yeah. So in terms of allyship, I read somewhere, somebody put a blog or something up, and I read it, and it couldn't have been more succinct. I can't imagine, haven't heard anything more appropriate, because I had been in circumstances where someone who's a friend of mine thought that they were being an ally by pointing out racism to me. And when they did, as much as, again, I hadn't seen it, I hadn't noticed it, there are times when you again, Grace, you just kind of think people are just being horrible. That's just who they are. And this friend of mine who's white said, gosh, that was racist. And she whispered it to me. And it took a moment, and she said, no, I've been looking, because before us and after us, this is what this person did. And so now this is racism. Now, we don't necessarily want white saviors, but I didn't want her to save me in this situation. Perhaps what I'm trying to say is that we're looking for people who are going to stand there and go through the pain of unlearning racism, go through it, go through how you learned it, find out where it happened, where your learning experiences came from, unpack that, do that work, go backwards in doing the work. It's not necessarily a case of, I'll call it when I see it. Can identify, then I'm an ally. Are we talking about the same thing? I'm hoping I'm on the right tangent here.
No, you are.
Absolutely.
No, you're fine.
Okay, so I'll call it, and then once I've done my work, because you now have to go and sort it out, because I can't stand in for you, because I can't explain your pain. But there is pain in shame and guilt. The shame and guilt that you will have when you do the work of unpacking what you learned, that is what will be similar to what I have to go through.
That's a really powerful way of explaining it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I couldn't have put it better. When I read it, I thought, wow, it's a struggle when things are so personal to articulate yourself. And there are people who are forerunners in this, and they are really good at spending time, and this is their work, this is what they do. And so when they come up with a way of explaining things so succinctly, it's great. It's so good, because you just feel like finally you have the weight, the words to say something. It's a tool then to use to put it out there, because as much as it's not my job to help somebody in this situation, so it's not my job to help my white friends or whatever, if they did ask, it's nice to be able to just say it in this way so that they can go off and do the work. Do you understand? Like, yeah, because they do come to me.
Yeah, no, and it kind of ties in with that a bit. So it goes back to lockdown when there was all the race stuff happening, and people would say to me, but it doesn't affect you because you're not that type of black. And I'm like, but I am. And it's just because I'm lighter doesn't mean that I haven't been perceived as being exactly the same. To me, I'm just me. And I've had the same judgments. I know what it feels like for people to perceive you in that way and treat you a certain way. So yeah, I'm going to stand up and say my piece and kind of advocate for those that need it. It doesn't mean that just because my skin's not as dark, I don't feel the same.
Because there are black people who aren't mixed, who look like you.
Yeah.
And they are fully black.
Yeah.
There are also mixed people who are completely dark. It just depends on how, and there are circumstances where you'll find yourself the blackest person in the room.
Yeah.
And so you are exposed to it. there is that the privilege of being lighter is a different scenario altogether. The passing, the whole thing of you could change your features or you can change the way your hair is and suddenly you can pass better than I could, for example. That's
Yeah.
another discussion. But you're not removed from the experiences just
Yeah.
because you look this
and
way.
people, it was really weird to see that people thought of me in that way. And it was just like, but this, I'm very proud of my family and like where they come from and everything. And it was very weird that people saw me in that way.
Yeah. You've been given a pass, you've been given a ticket that you didn't even know you
didn't
had.
want it.
Privilege that you didn't know that you've been given and you've not been using it. God damn you, how dare you, Claire? You could have done so much. You could have done so much with this. But yeah, so, and of course there's this thing of so long as there's a drop of black in you, you can't change the fact that you can't be as white as you possibly can be. And so that's just how it is. It's a drop, even if it's a percentage, a quarter, whatever the case is, it is there.
Yeah.
And so you're seen as other than white. You are not white. So yeah. So need to do the work holistically for all, really. However, whatever the levels of racism is, your experience of racism may be different to mine. Because I will not have white families who may discriminate against me. When I'm in my family, I'm in my family. We all look the same.
There's no differences.
When you're in your family, there is a difference. And so you may even experience a different level of racism than I do.
Okay, right.
By standing with me and walking away from having that ride that day was allyship.
Understood. Okay, yeah.
And so preventing her son from engaging in the racism at school, learning Black History Month because it was so painful. The fact that the pain was there is enough. He mustn't go through it. The fact that she's stopping him from going through the pain, because acknowledging that he was in pain is the allyship. And stopped him from learning really what this is about, because he was in pain. He was too upset.
You need to work through those emotions and learn.
This is what I'm saying. You've got to do the work.
Yeah. Well, it's also like some people go, oh, well, I'm not racist because I've got a black friend. And it's like, or it's like, oh, yeah, but they're the bad gays. You're the okay type of gay. And it's like,
it does feel like that sometimes, isn't it? It's like,
you're the token one.
Yeah, not you, though, just all of the others. Oh,
you're okay, though. The rest of them, they're a bit,
you know what they're like.
Oh, dear, Joe. That face.
I've seen it happen way too much. And it's like, no, it's just, you're just being discriminatory. Stop it.
Yeah.
People,
be quiet.
On them.
If you haven't got anything nice to say, zip it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, not enough people take that advice. The world would be so different if they did.
Judge everyone on their own merits.
Absolutely.
And so in terms of my learning disabilities, I have people who want me to display, to show them what dyslexia looks like, what ADHD looks like. How do you do that? I know.
You just stop people mid-sentence, go, my brain says this right now.
Yeah.
Well, it's also, my experience is my experience. Like, there are things that help me, like green paper makes life better for me. I'm sure there are people where green paper would make everything absolutely worse. So if people had encountered me and said, right, everyone who's dyslexic needs green paper. And it's like, well...
No. No. Mine is pink and yellow. My daughter's is yellow. Pink is better. Yellow's, if you don't have anything else, like a creamy yellow, I'll take that, because most people have it. And now with recycled paper, they tend to have a bit of a hue to them.
Yeah.
Whereas mine is very much, give me a screen. I'll be fine on the screen. Don't give me paper. I'll struggle with that.
Yeah. Your screen's better for you. Yeah, it's like they want me to, it's like this performative thing. Perform for me, show me. It's like a magic trick at a party.
Yeah, there was when I was at university again, it was well-meaning people who genuinely wanted to help. And there was a disabled students week and there was the LGBT week and there were various other weeks to cover various different liberation groups. And during the disabled students week, they went, well, there must be problems around accessibility in the university. How do we work out what they are? Right, what we should do is we should hire some wheelchairs and then go around in them for a day to see what it's like to be disabled. And it's like,
Just ask the people that need the help.
That would be the most sensible thing.
There are
People already
also
know the
other
answer.
disabilities. There's things that wouldn't occur to you if you're not in that situation, like things like the number of disabled toilets that are just used as storage. So if you actually try and get into them, wheelchair or not, they're full of mops or whatever, or there's things that just, as I said, wouldn't occur to you unless you experience it. It's like my school made a big thing to say, oh, we're now fully accessible. So they put lifts up various bits of stairs. But in order to get through the front door, you had to go up a massive flight of concrete stairs or go across a big muddy field to get to the accessible entrance. And it's like
2025.
Yeah.
It probably wasn't 2025, right?
no, this was a while back, to be fair, but they said we
But
were
it's
at a
still
girls'
an
school and they
issue.
said if there were any boys who needed an accessible school, they would be allowed to come to the school because it's great and it's accessible. And we were like, no, it's not. And they would not hear that it actually wouldn't be accessible. And there were various other factors that just were not friendly. But they were like, oh no, we've got a ramp.
Where is it?
Might have a pond around it, but we've got a ramp.
It's like there was
Get into a fish first.
a local tourist attraction. I won't mention the name of it, but they had a problem that a lot of staff left because there were massive problems with racism. So to solve it, they had an A5 poster that they put at floor level saying, please don't be racist.
Oh.
That helps.
Because that solves everything.
That's
I
all
only
the
noticed it because I
problem.
nearly tripped over the flipping thing. I was like, oh, what's that? Oh. Ooh.
Suppose it's like the performative effect.
I was just about to be racist, but then I saw your tiny poster.
I went, what's that? Oh, okay, then I won't. I suppose it's like the performative thing of like being in chronic pain. It's like if you're not screaming in pain all day, everyone's, oh, you're fine. You're obviously not in pain. No, I'm in pain.
That one just baffles me.
I'm always
Like,
in pain. Just deal with it.
and I know I shouldn't say it, but when Ricky gets ill, and he was ill over New Year, and he was stuck in bed for 12 days, really bad pain, really bad, whatever his cold was. He's like, my whole body hurts. He's like, this is this feeling. Welcome to my everyday life. And he's like, oh yeah. And because it's like he would ask me like how I'm doing, and if there's anything you can do. But because I'm not constantly talking about the pain I'm in,
Mm.
it's like people
Because you're
forget.
always in that pain.
Yeah, to me, it's just a normal day.
If you're going to talk about it, you'll be talking about it all day, all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd have nothing else to talk about other than my pain. Like,
Yeah, have you seen the alternative pain scale? I think that's really good if you've come across it. So it's like for normal people, this is your pain scale. For people with chronic pain, it's in the middle, and that's just normal. And it's like days with no pain. It's like
Yeah,
what is that?
Me and Ben have had in-depth discussions of me giving him a scale of pain and fatigue so he could understand better. And it's like when I put it in sort of alternative terms of like, this is a normal person's scale, this is me, he gets it to a point, and obviously he doesn't experience it, so he can't fully get it. But he was ill recently, and he's wandering around going, oh, everything hurts. I was like, I know this is your everyday, but everything hurts and I don't feel well. It's like, that's fine, you have to deal with it when it's your everyday.
Oh,
yeah, and please, if anyone's got any useful resources like that that can be shared, please do feel free, because it's like you said, Desiree, someone just puts it really well and you suddenly go, oh, okay, yes. And I think anything like that people come across, please do share it, because I think anything that can give you an insight into someone else's experience is so valuable. Or I think it's like often people can remember books they read or a TV series or something when they saw an experience and they suddenly went, oh, hang on, this happens.
Yeah.
And you get that light bulb moment. It's like, oh, as people would like to say, oh, there isn't any prejudice anymore. Do you know what? Everyone gets along and everything's fine. It's just people like moaning and causing a fuss.
Oh, oh dear. If
Those of
only.
you listening, there was a lot of incredulous faces there.
Yeah, it's usually often people who are living life on easy mode and don't acknowledge it. Like, I will definitely acknowledge that I have a level of privilege. Although when I'm down south, everyone thinks I sound really northern, but up here, everyone thinks I'm posh.
You are posh.
And there are people, mate, I'm from an education action zone. I got an extra grand when I went to uni because I learned to read. That's a true story, everyone. Woo, education action zones. But yeah, it's
Karen's not your average Essex bird either.
2% above average, but who knows? Yeah. But I will acknowledge that when I phoned up certain services, I was taken more seriously than my colleague, even though my colleague had way more experience than I did, because people heard my accent, and I don't like that, and I don't support that. But if I can use that to advocate for others, I absolutely will. But also, I will acknowledge, yes, it is a privilege. Not everyone has it. I didn't earn it. I just went to grammar school. Before I went to grammar school, I sounded proper Essex. So it's privilege. I can acknowledge that. And I think there are some people who can't or don't want to, because if they acknowledge that they have it easier than other people, it means they're not so special.
Well, I use it to my advantage. So when we came here, my mum did this lovely exercise with us, and she put a Leicester speaking person, and I think it was Stephen Fry. And she said, and then she put herself, she said, you either speak like me or you speak like Stephen Fry. You can't speak like this person. So you either speak as though you are who you are, an African woman, and be judged and carry on. What you don't want to do is have the dual prejudices, which is you're Black and you're local. Pick one. Yeah. Okay. So I have this thing where I prefer to have conversations on the phone because people don't quite know that I'm Black when I'm on the phone. I've had several situations where people say to me that you don't sound like a Black woman. And I say, well, what does a Black woman sound like?
Yeah.
Or they see me and they're incredibly surprised. So,
oh, you don't look how you sounded.
You don't look how you sounded. And the thing is, I had this problem, which was, do I not sound Black, or do I not? Is it the accent or is it the tone? Which one?
Both.
It seems to be both. Yeah. So, yeah.
I mean, Stephen Fry didn't sound like Stephen Fry until he had elocution lessons.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's not his natural accent.
Wow. So my mother said, now you need to decide which one are you going to be. You either sound like me or she said, if you come to me and you said Bus or Lucy or Luce, actually Luce, she said, I will cancel you. She said, I'm not having it. You need to make a firm decision. You sound like a newsreader or you sound like an African woman. You need to make a decision very quickly. So I pop in and out. There are days when I speak to my children like an African woman because we are all African. And then if I'm speaking quite extensively in English, I can't seem to go back into the African mode. But yeah, I don't sound Leicester because I actually never adopted. She refused to let us adopt the accent. Yeah.
Well, that can be a thing that breaks people's brains. Like, I think there was an advert for some sauce company, and it showed like, here are some people of Chinese origin, but they have a Glaswegian accent. Or here's someone who's Asian, but they have a Birmingham accent.
Yeah.
And at the time, people were like, whoa, that broke my brain.
No, real life experience of that.
Oh,
Years and years ago, when I first had Dylan, I was working in Costa Coffee, and there was this lovely Indian guy that worked there. First time I heard him speak, the most broadest Scottish accent I've ever heard in my life. And I'm like, the hell? See, I didn't swear then. But it broke my brain. And it took
wow.
me ages to get used to, because it was just like, in your head, it just doesn't match. Then afterwards, it was just like, okay, yeah, this is fine. But it just takes your brain a bit of adjusting because you're not expecting it. And I think it was, even kind of growing up where I did, it was the first time of experiencing someone else that had moved to another area and adopted that local accent. And
Mhm.
it was such a strong Scottish accent.
Wow.
Like, it was just like,
Not just a bit.
oh no, not just a bit, like fully. And I was just like, what? Absolutely blew my mind. And he was just like, happens everywhere I go.
Wow.
That people see me and they don't expect me to sound like this.
I pick up accents really quickly to the point that people think I'm taking the mick. And I don't know if that's like a neurospicy thing or it's a code switching thing and I'm trying to fit in. But honestly, within 3 hours in Australia, I picked up an Australian accent. And it's like, I'm not taking the mick, I can't help it.
It's just me being me.
I'm like you, Karen. I pick up accents so quickly. And so I'm from down south originally, and I moved to Wales, Hereford, and then Wales. And I picked up such a like Herefordian Welsh accent. And coming from down south, like quite a posh part of like North London, it was so wildly different. And then I moved to Leicester and it's changed again. And like sometimes my brain can't decide what accent it is. So my accent will suddenly change, or I'll say a word differently because it was how I used to say the word. And someone will look at me
Yes,
and go,
yeah.
since when did you say grass? And I'd be like, grass. And they'd be like, no, you just said grass. Like, did
Yeah.
I?
There's nothing else you say matter now because you've just said that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
no, I do get what you mean. I pick them up so quickly.
Well, my friend's from Hong Kong and she spoke in quite a formal RP accent, but any swear words she learnt from us in Essex. So she'd switch to an Essex accent just for swear
Swear.
words.
I love that.
She'd not heard them anywhere else because they didn't teach her swear words in Hong Kong. So
You come to the UK for.
Yeah.
Yes.
My
When
friend,
I went to uni, one of my roommates was from Essex. He could not understand a word I said, especially if I'd been home recently. He'd just look at me, gone out, going, not a word. Yet when I go home, my brother would go, what's that accent? It's like, it's a Yorkshire accent, but softened for people down south.
yeah, there is the generic uni accent. There's a slightly northern generic uni accent, a slightly southern generic uni accent where everyone merges a bit.
Yeah.
I know we've passed Sheffield if I'm travelling with Ben because his voice drops an octave and he speaks proper again. We're both from Yorkshire, but we live in Nottingham, so we don't speak with a proper Yorkshire accent.
It's like being up here. It's like when we first moved and like meeting new people, and some people have a proper strong northern accent, and it's like certain words that they do differently, and I'm just like, huh? And especially if we've been out drinking with people, and
Oh.
I'm just everyone, because everyone says to me like, oh, when you've had a drink, you talk really fast, and I'm like, okay, this is like a whole nother level. And I literally just sit there and I'm just like, you what? Yeah. I can't understand it at all. But I am learning. I'm doing a lot better.
Are there any causes you felt strongly about that you've maybe lobbied about something? Are there any charities or causes you support? Have you been on a protest march? Or is there anything else you've done to help get causes out there?
So, for example, like I'm a big advocate for autism awareness and acceptance. And obviously, you've done the last 4 years fundraising for CALM for mental health and suicide awareness based on personal experiences So they're two that are really big for me. I haven't done I've always wanted to do a protest, but I've never been. But I would love to kind of get involved and go and show solidarity at the same time.
So obviously I've done the calm thing, promoting that, because obviously it's mental health. The other thing that I've been involved in is raising awareness and money for cancer. Having lost my grandparents and my mum to cancer. However, I might have done it in a different way to what most people have done. I actually got in the boxing ring, as you do, because that's what everybody do, just get in the boxing ring. I won't be doing it again, for sure. One of the reasons why I do Letha every year is about disconnecting from the outer world and reconnecting with yourself, so you can understand yourself a little bit better.
We'll just keep you away, River.
Yeah. You do lots of fundraising. Tell us about yours.
Oh, yes.
So obviously I did the calm thing as well for Charity Gala. Previously I've done 10,000 steps every day for a month for JDRF, which is a diabetes charity. This year is probably my biggest challenge. Probably will always be my biggest challenge, because I don't know quite where I go from the marathon. But yeah, I think the marathon, it's like training and fundraising at the same time. There's two huge elements to it. But throughout the training, I get to raise awareness for visual impairments, and I get to like talk about my story and my journey all the way through. And I think that's really important, just because visual impairments, lots of people don't realise. Like, I'm very aware that my eyes look pretty normal. I mean, my pupils are dilated because my nerves don't work properly, but otherwise they look normal. And I'm very aware that if someone looks at me, that I don't look blind. And I know that's a very obvious thing to say, but sometimes people then don't twig that I might need adaptions because you can't see it. So I think this is a really big, important fundraiser for me, especially because I was brought up with sight. So I wasn't registered partially sighted till about 5 years ago. So I think it's quite a personal journey for me, which is kind of reflected in the process of training for a marathon. Someone said to me, training for a marathon is like a marathon in itself. And I completely agree with that.
I think it's incredible that you're doing it. I wouldn't even attempt to do it. Like, I know my limits.
Me neither.
And I just think it's incredibly inspiring.
And obviously we'll share your links out all over the place. And if anyone is able to, please do sponsor River, or if you're not able to, find out more about the cause and how that can potentially help people.
Yeah.
Or just share River's link and get lots of
that works too.
To do it.
So in keeping with what I do and what happened to my children, especially the most recent one, I'm wanting to do something towards educating children, especially starting from the primary schools, about hair, the differences, the similarities. I'm wanting to delve really quite deeply into the science of it, because the science shows the similarities and the percentages of similarities outweigh the differences, and what actually transpires outside of the dermis is the same, but then what comes out is different, and why that is different. And really, because I noticed that even my child corrects me sometimes, and it shows that somebody else is teaching her something somewhere. Most of the time it's from the school. And so if we can infiltrate from the school and then start from there, the hope is that they can then go home at their dinner table and perhaps correct certain conversations that happen. And if anything, I'm almost trying to stop the racist attacks that happens because of the physical, the way we look. stop that in its tracks before it even leaves the home, because majority of a good portion of the issues that my little girl faced, including my older daughter, was the look of the hair. And in all fairness, if I put on a wig and I turned around and there's a Chinese woman, an Indian woman, and a white woman, and we all had brown hair, you wouldn't necessarily notice any difference in us if we all turned around, if we all turned our faces. But then when we face you, regardless of what wig I have on, you would notice the difference. And so I'm wanting to bridge that gap, but also trying to, because children have this beautiful way of passing on a message that it can almost give goosebumps. It's striking, it's so profound, and they do it in a way without any inhibitions whatsoever. And so as much as the negative things go through them, I'm also trying to kind of go in and push the positives and push the facts. I really want the facts, because if a child can come to you with facts, I promise you, it does knock you for 6. And they don't forget. Once it's in there, it's in there. And if you can prove it to them and back it up, they're in. So I'm wanting to do something like that. This is what I want to start pushing forward.
It might be worth you speaking with one of our sponsors, Mr. Fenton. He does a lot of things with schools around mental health and sport and all sorts of things. So he could probably help you with that.
Yes, that's lovely. Yes, I will do. Thank you.
I was literally thinking of him when you're talking, and it's like, yes, Dom.
I think you're right, though, that I think people moan about younger generations, but I think they've got a lot of things right. There's ways that younger people are so much more open-minded than we were at that age, and maybe some hang-ups that we have that they don't have. And yeah, I think just giving people that chance to explore, and like you said, hair can be so political and so personal and so much of your identity. And I've known people with things like trichotillomania, well, they'll pull their hair out and they've managed to overcome that, and then they've grown their hair, and then someone said, oh, I much preferred your hair when it was shorter. And it's like, it's my hair. Do you know what I mean? It's not down to you to give me permission to have a hairstyle.
Yeah.
Talking about sponsors, we should probably have some spoonsful of loveliness.
Yay.
Maybe we should.
We got carried away. So yeah, enjoy our spoonsful of loveliness, and we'll see you in a moment.
Maddie Alexander Grout knows what it's like to feel invisible. She spent years trying to get noticed in a world that wasn't built for people like her. That's why she created Invisible to Influential, a membership designed to give entrepreneurs and business owners the accountability, body doubling, social media growth and visibility strategy they need to be seen, heard and understood. Whether you struggle with consistency, knowing what to post, or just need a supportive space to show up and take action, this is the place for you. Ready to stop being overlooked and start getting noticed? Connect with Maddie on Instagram at Maddie Talks Money to find out more.
I remember when I talking about educating people on hair and showing them the similarities, even though it looks and feels different. I remember growing up, and it was always because my hair's kind of in between, and it was just like, oh, your hair's so different, and it's like, let me touch, and it's like, why are people obsessed with touching your hair? And then 18 months ago, I shaved off all my hair for charity.
And looked fabulous.
It did. And it was really therapeutic for me because I hadn't been dealing with the alopecia side of things really well. And it got me to kind of open up about it and recognize the stresses that I kind of pushed down, which obviously caused it to happen more. And I knew it wasn't going to fix anything. But then as it was growing out, you then notice the bald patches, it grows at different lengths and things like that. And it's been a really therapeutic process because I didn't realize how much it still affected me as it was growing. I didn't think I'd have that side of it. So, it's just going to grow out and that's it. But you don't think about all these different things. I mean, I had people I'd be out and people were like, "Oh, your hair looks amazing," and wouldn't even ask; they'd just start touching it, and I'm just like, I wouldn't go up to you and be like, "Can I touch your hair?" Like, I wouldn't even just do that, and it really baffles me, especially for Black women. There's like this thing where people are just like, "Oh, I need to feel your hair," and I'm just like, "But why?"
Yeah.
And that's one that I've never fully understood
I think it's
because
that othering thing. It's like you are rare and exotic and like
you
a
are
precious bird.
shiny.
It
Yeah,
knew.
I think it's someone trying to be positive. It's genuinely like, I love that. I've not seen that before. I've not experienced that, but not acknowledging that other person is an actual human being and
Yeah, it's like I'm
don't
more than
go
my
up to
hair.
people and stroke their hair. It's not
Yes.
a thing you do. Other than that weirdo on the bus that one time, but
I suppose it's similar to everybody seems to think they can touch a pregnant woman's belly.
yeah,
Oh, don't get me
yes.
started on that one.
I
That
had
annoyed
someone do
me.
that to me. Some woman came up to me and she went, "Pregnant? No, love, just fat."
I've done that before. I've done that before, Joe.
Oh, I would love to have
I
seen her
just need big
face.
grump.
Yeah, but it's the fact she touched me to do it.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
Not okay. You can't just put your
so,
hands on
isn't it?
people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like
Just drawing back on. Sorry, anyone saying something?
no, you go ahead, please.
Just drawing back on what Claire was saying about the psychological aspects of hair loss, and the fact. I mean, this is the reason why I do what I do. It's just such a huge thing. Hair is, unfortunately, the NHS does not acknowledge that hair is anything other than vanity measure, or it's just what we use to just make ourselves look good. But we do have the fact that medically there is no, the hair is an appendage, it's not a surviving organ, it doesn't help you to live, but it's a barometer for gauging your health. If you're not well, we will know from your hair how long you have been unwell for. Blood tests almost don't tell us that, but your hair can tell us that. And so when something's happening to someone and they go to tell a doctor, one of the things that they also miss is how it will affect their hair. Sometimes it's in, if they give you medication, it's in the side effects. But mental health conditions affect the hair greatly. Doctors don't pick up on that. They're not, they have been educated on everything, a little bit of everything. They are the signposters to where we go.
yeah.
They have a lot of knowledge because they do, but expert knowledge. This is why when you go to the GP, they will refer you on to somebody else. And so in trichology, we are the ones that are there to pick up those pieces, so to speak, from what the GPs don't deal with. You wouldn't have 45 minutes to speak to a doctor about what's going on. And because that's not what their focus is in terms of checking for anything, they don't check for anything with hair. So hair does not matter to them, although we know scientifically that it should. The NHS is what governs all of this. GPs know that your hair should be important. We all know it, but they don't care because the NHS doesn't. They are the ones that give us the money. So if they don't care, we can't discuss it. So for you, for example, Claire, having to deal with the, like I say, in the wake of what's happened to you, what do you do? That would have been something that your GP wouldn't have helped you with. It just wouldn't. You would have had to just dealt with that. Sometimes people don't even know that it's true growth, it's true recovery. They just need someone to tell them that. Your GP can't help you with that. They don't know what it looks like. They don't know what a full recovery looks like. And we'll have dermatologists who also don't have in-depth knowledge. So if you find one that specializes in trichology, you're perfect. If you have a GP that has a trichological background, perfect. But yeah, I'm afraid this is what we have to face.
And when I first got diagnosed with alopecia, it was the doctor that diagnosed me was actually really, this is stemming from something else.
Yeah.
And she was the one that realized it was linked to my mental health and the situation that I was going through. I'd kind of pushed all the emotions and feelings down on it to not deal with it, got out of that situation, and she's like, this is your body's way of letting all that stress go.
Yeah.
So I was really lucky in that sense, and I've kind of remembered it and I've used it as I've gone along. So I know when I'm getting nude ball patches and things like that, I'm like, okay, what am I not dealing with? What am I needing to work with? And as it was growing out and the self-consciousness coming back in, because obviously I can't hide it. My hair's not long. I can't do this. So poor Joe and Karen was just getting I'm going through this, help me. Like, there's nothing they can do, but they were just there as like my sounding board to
Yeah.
get me through those insecure moments of doubt and all the stress. And it's only when my hair started growing back, I'm like, oh my God, it is so curly. And I wasn't expecting it to grow back as curly. I don't know why. Oh no, I've laughed at myself. Do not worry. But it's like, I mean, I love it now. Like when I wash it and it's kind of like the curl, I'm really embracing having the curly hair. And it's something I was so ashamed of when I was younger. And I felt unsure of myself with it. And now I'm just like, okay, I absolutely love it. But now I need to learn how to manage it. And it's like this whole new learning curve. And it's like, oh my God, what am I doing?
You're born again.
Yeah. It has been a whole learning curve, but I mean, I absolutely love it. And the one thing I'm not doing is I'm not straightening it. I'm never going to relax it again or anything like that, because I fully love having it curly.
That's
And
amazing.
but it's taken, what, I'm 42, and it's taken me this long to be like, I can embrace my hair as a natural kind of, with the curls and the afro and everything. It's like, it's fine.
It is amazing all the messages that what we throw at children, though. It's like in Snanton, it's quite a multicultural area of Nottingham, and there used to be the shop. It was a two-story shop, and on the entire side of it was this poster for skin bleach. And like every day, the number of people who walked past or drove past or got the bus past that massive thing saying you have to be paler to be beautiful. And this was about 10 years ago. So it wasn't like it was in the distant past when no one knew better.
Mm.
No, it's relevant enough that people can remember. And I've seen things about people doing that, and it's just like, that's still a thing. And it kind of blows your mind a bit, that the extremes that we go to fit in with what society says we should be or how we should be. And it's like, no, just be yourself. We encourage children to kind of be free and it's okay and just do what you're doing. And then as adults and teenagers, it's like, no, you have to be this. And yeah, it's a weird one.
I was doing the same. I had relaxed hair and I was sending my child to school with beautiful bubble bunches.
Oh.
She looked like a little bear with her little bunches, and she was being picked on for it. And so I don't know why I needed to learn the lesson twice, because the same thing happened with my older daughter, and I had to cut my hair. This time I did the same thing, cut my hair. So now my hair is natural in its afro state. And so although she's left her old school, so she's in a new school, and when she has her bunches, I put mine in bunches too. And so when she's had a terrible day of them picking on her and I turn up and my hair's exactly the same as her, it's just that thing, that feeling of belonging.
Yeah, you're not alone.
Okay, so one final question before we move to our community questions for our panel. Are there any useful organisations or charities who've helped you or that you could recommend?
Is this for discrimination?
Yeah. Yeah, or just generally anyone that has helped you and could potentially help other people.
I have a long list personally.
Go for it.
No, please do.
So for vision, definitely Victor, and also RNIB, they're great, and guide dogs. So even if you don't have a guide dog, you can still access quite a lot of support from guide dogs. I found them really helpful. Then in terms of mental health, Shout, Calm, The Mix, there are so many out there and so many that are willing to listen, so many that just provide loads of support, and they have resources. So even if you don't need to talk to someone at that point in time, there's resources to help you cope in times where you might need someone to talk to, but then it kind of acts as early intervention, having those resources. So, I mean, they're amazing. Yeah, I think that's it. But also like Diabetes UK is amazing. So is JD.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, kind of everything really. Like, I'm a really big one for charity, big advocate for charity.
I'll be honest, I never really went down that route, I think. So, yeah, I've done a little bit of the calm thing, but never really used a charity when I was really struggling. That's probably because of who I was at the time, asking for help. No.
Can't do that.
Yeah, get that, yeah.
Yeah. I think when I lost, the one good thing was when my brother passed away, probably about 6 months later, the doctor recommended that I speak to somebody, and I had a bit of grief counselling. But that was like when we've got the thing at the moment with the NHS, you get 6 sessions to chat to somebody, and how you're expected to get all that out in 6 sessions.
Yeah.
It boggles my brain, but that did help. I can't remember the charity what it was now.
Cruise.
Cruise, that was it. Cruise. Thank you, Karen. Yeah, Cruise was there, and the gentleman was so nice. But in the end, I ended up just paying for my own private therapist, and I think Cruise opened the door a little bit, and then I just went right. So I then started. I paid somebody who came highly recommended. Going back to what as was saying earlier, it's finding the right people. Don't just go Google somebody or whatever. I made sure that she come highly recommended, and that was probably the best investment I made in myself. But it wasn't a charity, unfortunately. But yeah, Cruise, definitely.
So I have a few. I've got Alopecia UK and Alopecia Society. I've also got Cancer Hair Care, which is also, if I'm sure, it's in the UK. It's a charity as well. And then we've got Caring for Hair UK. This lady deals with people who also are going through hair loss because of cancer treatments that they may have had to have. So it's really good. The kind of help that she gives is for before, during, and after. She does seminars and so on, and she supports people with all types of hair loss, but she has this particular one that deals with cancer and hair loss.
Thank you for those. I can see Claire's been diligently squiggling them all down, so we'll make sure all the links with the show notes.
Because I think it's important to share the links for that.
That, and if you know of some good ones, because I've known of some charities, for example, who make sure no one with that condition is on their board on the basis that they'll be too poorly to do anything useful.
Oh dear.
And I shan't be putting their links.
No, the charity I have used in the past, I haven't used them for a couple of years now because Dylan's too old. There's one called the Family Fund, and it supports children and families with disabilities. If you want a bit of a lower income, it can just help you with like white goods, clothes for your kids. If they say when he started sixth form, it was like he got him a laptop. Just different grants they give you. They vary to months you can apply for something, just to help you out as a family. And they are really good, and they do different training courses. There's loads of different things on their website that they do to support families.
Sorry, who's that?
From it's called the Family Fund.
Oh yeah.
And they are really good. So I've used them a few times over the years, and they've just always been really good.
I've used them as well. They're really good.
Yeah, no, they helped us get a washer dryer one year, and it was like the best thing ever. I was like, yay, have a tumble dryer. Honestly, when you don't have one, it's the best thing in the world.
Yeah,
but no, now it's really handy.
Yeah, they helped us get a dishwasher because of some of my issues and how that would help. It just, transformed. Yeah,
it does. There are so many different charities and different support systems out there. It's just finding the ones that help you and are beneficial to you.
And also potentially local ones as well, where they don't have to spend money on a massive building in London and things like that, and they can be a bit more focused. So do have a search for things that are local to you, because they can often be equally helpful, but smaller. So yeah, that peer support groups as well can be really valuable. Just to be able to talk through things with people who are in a similar situation to you can be really valuable, particularly if you're newly diagnosed or waiting for a diagnosis. Just that real life experience can suddenly mean you connect the dots and go, oh, that's why that happened after I did this thing. Ah, who knew? Because we can't possibly know it all. Righty-ho, I'm going to pass over to Jo for community questions. Whoosh!
Whoosh. Thank you, Karen. Okay, I've got 3 questions for you. Our first one is from Pearl. I think my colleague is being bullied. People make lots of nasty comments to her. She says it doesn't bother her. Should I back off or push it?
If you watch bullies bully, they'll bully you.
Yeah, my thought is stand up and say something. It's because I know when I was being bullied, I was like, oh no, it's fine. And you put on that brave face, but it's not okay.
Mm.
And
Same.
I don't think there's any harm in standing up for someone that you can see is visibly being bullied.
Mm. Well, especially when she says it doesn't bother her. Is she saying that because, oh, it's just banter, we're just having a laugh, like bullies do? Or
But
is it
there's
maybe that she's not aware? Maybe she thinks they're just being friendly, but they're not. That's more difficult because you'll have to break it to her. Potentially she's not aware and thought they were friends or something. But it's, yeah, worth looking into why she says it doesn't bother her, because that might make a difference to how you handle it.
The other thing is, if it doesn't bother her, and that's okay. If it doesn't, she's thick-skinned and it just bounces off her. But if they start bullying somebody else who isn't, then that could be the difference between somebody being here and somebody not being here. Yeah. So it's always, in my opinion, it's always good to raise awareness of it. If it's okay for this lady and she's not bothered about what they're saying, but they could take that out on somebody else. Because
yeah, it's also your workplace.
If they're not getting a response, they'll find somebody that will get a response off.
Yeah. And it could be triggering for somebody who's been through this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I wouldn't want that in my workplace, whether it's aimed at me or not. I don't think it's healthy.
No.
Okay. The next question is from Alex. I share a co-working space, so it can be noisy sometimes. I'm worried it will make phoning people harder as there's lots of background noise. Can they hear properly? Is it distracting? Is there a way to make it better or somewhere to go for advice? See, I can probably say something like that. If you're in a co-working space, they usually have pods or something where everything's a little bit quieter and that you could make calls from, which wouldn't have the distracting background noise. Or if you're phoning somebody, always check, can they hear you? And if they're struggling, tell them you're phoning back.
Possibly a headset as well.
Yeah.
Co-working space has them. Oh, sorry, River, I spoke over you. I apologise.
No, it's fine. I was going to say noise cancelling headphones that are really good to kind of cut out the background noise. And if you have a microphone, it means that the person you're talking to can hear you directly and the rest is muffled.
And I also ask them to let you know, just say it's really noisy here. Sometimes it's people struggle. If and when you're struggling, let me know. And if you find that a lot of people are saying that, that would be a cue to let your superiors know to give you a different place to work from.
Yeah, that works. And finally, a question from Matt. Is it okay for me to facilitate a peer support group, even if I'm not part of that group?
Can you say that question again?
Yeah. Is it okay for me to facilitate a peer support group if I'm not part of that group?
No.
I would suggest finding a partner to do it with that is part of that.
See, I would say in some ways you could say yes if it was a peer support group for allyship, because allyship is really important, and often Like I do a lot of stuff with LGBTQ plus groups, and getting allyship is something really hard. So if you were creating, say, a peer support group of allies, that would work. But I think often there are some groups which are harder, you couldn't really facilitate without being part of them because you don't understand the struggle they go through. So I think it's very much situation dependent.
Yeah, I think it also depends how it's being facilitated. Like, is the facilitator there to basically get people talking and take notes, or are they leading the group? And if they're leading the direction of the group, that feels very uncomfortable to me.
Yeah, I'd agree. It's like either be a part of the group, be an ally for the group, or work with somebody. There's always ways to do it, and look at why you want to do it. Is it to boost your own ego? If it is, done. If it's to genuinely help people, find someone to help you.
Also, ask the group. It may be that the way you're facilitating, they're like, yeah, that's fine. It may be that they say, no, we'd rather have. I suppose it very much depends why this is set up. If it's within a workplace and there's someone who's facilitating lots of groups, and I'm not sure the situation, to be honest, but yeah, I definitely speak to the group and see if it's okay, and genuinely see if it's okay, not just that's all right, isn't it, everyone?
Yeah, good point. Well, thank you. That's all the questions I have.
Thank you for joining us, 3Spoonies, on episode 27.5 on discrimination. We would love to know your thoughts in the comments, and if you have any questions, let us know. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to our weekly podcast and leave us a review. You can find us on social media, and we would love it if you would join us in the Business Success Network for Disabled Entrepreneurs Facebook group. You can also buy us a coffee if you like what we do. All of the links for everything we've spoken about today will be in the show notes. There will be a lot. We will see you next week for our topic on budgeting when you're neurodivergent. Have a great day and keep track of your spoons.